Hello and welcome to the Bible in Plain View, where we here at the Israel Church of Jesus present to you the Bible in a plain and simple way. Today we will have a lesson titled, If You're Not Israel, You're a Gentile. I'm Brother Tyler and this is Brother Stan, and he's going to take it from here.
Thank you, Brother Tyler. All right, today's lesson again is if you're not Israel, you're a Gentile? Question mark. Because some people are under the impression, when you get to the New Testament that Gentiles are lost Israelites. So I have some scriptures. Without further ado, man, let's just get started because I like to let the Bible talk.
Sounds good to me,
book
man.
talk. So first and foremost, let's start in the Old Testament. I was told not to go here, but that ain't stopping me. Go to Genesis chapter 10 and go to verse 1, bro. Genesis chapter 10 and start off in verse 1. When you get it, kick off.
Now these are the generations of the sons of Noah.
Okay, so Noah have some sons, and we about to read the generations of one of his sons. Keep reading.
Shem, Ham, and Japheth.
3 sons right there, right? Go ahead.
And unto them were sons born after the flood.
Okay, so Shem, Ham, and Japheth had some sons, right? Read.
The sons of Japheth.
Okay, so now we're dealing with the son of Japheth, right? Go ahead, brother, read.
Gomer and Magog and Maadi and Javan and Tubal and Meshach and Tiras. And the sons of Gomer, Ashkenaz and Riphtha and Togarmah. And the sons of Javan, Elisha and Tarshish, Kittim and Dodid.
So notice Japheth had some sons, and then his sons had some sons and sons, etc., etc. And now that these sons came what, bro? Verse 5.
By these were the isles of the Gentiles.
No. Read that again.
By these were the isles of the Gentiles.
By these were the isles of the Gentiles. What about them?
Divided in their lands.
Okay. These are the Gentiles divided into their lands. These are the people we know as the Europeans and also the Asians. Go ahead.
Every one after his tongue.
Everyone after his tongue and what?
And after their families in their nations.
Okay, so according to Genesis chapter 10, the physical Gentiles are the Europeans and the Asian peoples. We see here. These are known as what? What did it say in verse 5?
By these were the isles of the Gentiles.
The Gentiles. That's what they're called here. But according to some of these folks out here, Gentiles are lost Israelites. And Israel don't come from the son of Japheth, right? So anyway, let's go look at the New Testament a little bit. Let's go to Luke 18. Let's look at this because you got to break it down. You got some people that says when you read Acts chapter 10 that Cornelius
yeah
excuse me, that Cornelius is a lost Israelite in Italy. So I don't understand that. It clearly says he's an Italian. So Luke chapter 18 and pick it up at verse 31. Get it, brother.
Then he took unto him the 12 and said unto them, Behold, we go up to Jerusalem, and all things that are written by the prophets.
All things that are written by the prophets concerning who? Concerning
the Son of Man.
That's talking about concerning Jesus. All things written by the prophets. Things that's written by the prophets is in the Old Testament, right? Read.
Shall be accomplished.
So these things should be accomplished, right? You can read some of this stuff in Psalms chapter 22. You also could go to Isaiah 53 and read that. Go ahead, brother.
For he shall be delivered unto the Gentiles.
Wait, what? He shall be what?
Delivered unto the Gentiles.
Okay, so according to what was written, he shall be delivered unto the Gentiles and what?
And shall be mocked.
And what else?
And spitefully enchanted and spitted on. And they shall scourge him and put him to death.
This is all talking about Jesus.
And the third day he shall rise again.
Okay, so what you just read, you read that he should be delivered unto the Gentiles, right?
Correct.
Let's go see. Go to Matthew 27 real quick. Because when we read Gentiles in the New Testament, every single thing that says Gentile is lost Israelite, huh? That's what they say. That's not accurate. Matthew 27 and verse 1, brother. Read it.
When the morning was come, all the chief priests and elders of the people took counsel against Jesus to put him to death.
Okay, so sound like the same thing we was just reading, right? Still talking about Jesus, right? Read verse 2.
And when they had bound him, they led him away and delivered him to Pontius Pilate.
They what?
They delivered him
They
to
delivered
Pontius
him to
Pilate.
who?
To Pontius Pilate.
Pontius Pilate, who? The governor.
The governor.
And Pontius Pilate is not an Israelite. It just said he had to be delivered to the Gentiles. So, just we got to clear things up. We got to make sure Pontius Pilate is not an Israelite, right? Let's go to John 18, brother. Go to John 18. And it might seem like I'm moving fast, but I got some scriptures I want to put in here. John 18, and pick it up at verse 28. When you get it, go ahead.
Then led they Jesus from Caiaphas unto the hall of judgment. And it was early, and they themselves went not into the judgment hall, lest they should be defiled, but that they might eat the Passover. Pilate then went out unto them, and said, What accusation bring ye against this man?
Talking about Jesus, right? Because they who? Israel, the Jews, they delivered him unto Pontius, right? And Pontius like, what accusation you bring against this man? Read.
They answered and said unto him,
They who? The Jews, right? That's who's answering what they say.
If he were not a malefactor, we would not have delivered him up unto thee.
So if he wasn't a malefactor, we would not have delivered him up unto thee. Read.
Then said Pilate unto them, Take ye heed, and judge him according to your law.
To your law.
The Jews therefore said unto him,
okay, the Jews said therefore what?
It is not lawful for us to put any man to death.
It ain't lawful for us to put any man to death. That's what the Jews telling Pilate, right? Read.
That the saying of Jesus might be fulfilled, which he spake, signifying what death he should die.
Read.
Then Pilate entered into the judgment hall again, and called Jesus, and said unto him, Art thou the king of the Jews?
So he's asking Jesus. Pilate asks Jesus, Are you the king of the Jews? Read.
Jesus answered him, Sayest thou this thing of thyself, or did others tell it thee of me?
So now let's pay attention to what Jesus Pilate say to Pilate say to Jesus. Go ahead.
Pilate answered.
What Pilate answered?
Am I a Jew?
Am I a Jew? Oh, because it just said he need to be delivered to the Gentiles. Then we read somewhere else where it said he was delivered to Pilate. Now Pilate is telling, he said, Am I a Jew? He's a Gentile. That's why he's saying this. Am I a Jew? What else he say? Watch this.
Thine own nation.
Wait a minute. He said, your own nation. What can you do with that? Pilate said, am I a Jew? No, he a Gentile. They delivered him to this Gentile man. And he's letting you know, am I a Jew? He get a little spiffy with Jesus. He said, your own nation. What they do, brother?
Thine own nation. And the chief priests have delivered thee
Oh,
unto
just
me.
like it said, you got to be delivered to the Gentile, right? They delivered him, right? Go ahead.
What hast thou done?
What has that done, right? So that's good right there. We just wanted to make sure Pilate was a Gentile. He's not a Jew. He's telling you right here, right? So now let's go to Amos chapter 3, because he was a Gentile. He in the flesh. That's what Pontius Pilate was, a Gentile in the flesh. Let's go deal a little bit with Israel now. Let's go to Amos chapter 3 and pick it up at verse 1, brother. When you get it, just read it.
Hear this word that the Lord hath spoken against
Who's
you.
speaking his word?
The Lord.
Against who? Read.
O children of Israel.
O children of Israel. Go ahead.
Against the whole family which I brought up from the land of Egypt.
Yeah, because God did that. You can read that back in Exodus. Read.
Saying, You only have I known of all the families
so
of the
God
earth.
is saying, I only knew you, Israel, of all the families of the earth. Read.
Therefore I will punish you for all your iniquities.
So first of all, if you want to know the punishments that God laid on his people and the proof of who they are, you just go to Deuteronomy, read chapter 8, and see who those curses fit today. There's only people I know that have been at the bottom of the ship. You had some masters on the top, but the people at the bottom of the ship was Israelites, and you can read about the curses there, right? So go to Psalms 147. He said I will punish you for your iniquities. What is iniquity? Sin. Sin is what? The transgression of the law. God gave these people his law, statutes, and commandments, his oracles. Did he not? Right? Go to Psalms chapter 47. 147. Thank you, brother. And pick it up at verse 19. When you get it, read it.
He showed his word unto Jacob.
Wait a minute. He who? That's talking about God when you start back at verse 1. He showed his word to Jacob. What else?
His statutes and his judgments unto Israel.
So if you ain't know who Jacob was, we talking about Israel. Israel had his name changed. Jacob had his name changed, right? Go ahead.
He hath not dealt so with any nation.
See, God ain't deal so with any other nation but Israel. when it comes to his statutes, laws, and his word, right? Go ahead.
And as for his judgments,
What about them?
they have not known
The
them.
nations ain't know about nothing about God's judgments, right? So that's why Jesus be saying what he's going to say. We're going to read some of that in a little bit. Matter of fact, we're going to read it now. Go to Matthew chapter 10. Matthew chapter 10. Because technically, we know the Gentiles are, the European white people, also the Asians people, right? That's the sons of Japheth. Israel have nothing to do with being a Gentile. If I go back to Leviticus chapter 11 and read verses 7 and 8 where it talks about a swine, is not a swine the same thing in 2020? Is it not a pig? So why do they change here? That don't make no sense. A pig is a pig. It's that simple.
Yeah.
So give me what I say, brother. Matthew chapter 10
Yeah.
and pick it up at verse 5. Read it.
These 12 Jesus sent forth and commanded them, saying, "Go not into the way of the Gentiles."
Wait a minute. Now, why would Jesus tell them not to go into the way of the Gentiles? Now, according to people out there that's teaching wrong, because that's what you're doing, you talking about the Gentiles are lost Israelites. Why is Jesus commanding these 12, which are Israelites, not to go to Israelites if that's who they are? Because that's not who he's talking about, right? Read that verse again.
These 12 Jesus sent forth and commanded them, saying, "Go not into the way of the Gentiles."
Jesus said, don't go into the way of the Gentiles. Read.
"And into any city of the Samaritans enter ye not. But go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel."
Oh, wait a minute. He said, go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. First of all, God, if God is identifying the lost sheep as what? Israel. If they was lost Israelites, he would have said, go to the Gentiles, which are lost Israelites. That's not what he's saying right here. He just identified the lost sheep as the house of Israel. That's who the lost Israelites are. They the lost sheep. Ain't got nothing to do with Gentiles. So the thing is, there's an order that the Lord has, and he need to bring his kingdom of priests back so they can go out there and teach the other nations. There's an order, right? So go ahead. Did you read 6?
Yep.
Read that again.
"But go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel."
Let's talk about lost. Let's talk about a lost sheep. Okay, because Brother Paul, wasn't he a lost sheep? He knew he was from the tribe of Benjamin, but when he was Saul, he was killing people that was serving the Lord. He was lost. That was a lost sheep. Oh. Let's keep it plain and simple, right?
Yep.
So now let's go to John chapter 7, brother. John chapter 7. John chapter 7. And we're going to pick it up at verse 32. When you get it, go ahead and read it.
"The Pharisees heard that the people murmured such things
These
concerning
are Jews. If you don't know who the Pharisees are, read.
And the Pharisees and the chief priests sent officers to take him. Then said Jesus unto them,
What did he say?
Yet a little while I am with you, and then I go unto him that sent me. Ye shall seek me, and shall not find me. And where I am..."
Because first of all, see, Jesus talking about him dying and being raised again and going and sit on the side of the Father, right? But see, that's too high above these Pharisees' knowledge. They don't know nothing about that.
Yeah.
And so much, because what they ask later, they just telling you they don't know. Read.
"Thither ye cannot come."
He said you can't come, right? Read.
Then said the Jews among themselves.
Then said the Jews among, what they say, brother?
Whither will he go?
Where he gonna go?
That we shall not find him.
Where he gonna go that we should not find him? See, they don't understand that he's going to die and be raised on the third day and go up to the Lord, right? They don't understand that. But where he gonna go that we shouldn't find him? What they say?
Will he go into the dispersed?
Stop. Will he go into the dispersed? Who's the dispersed here? That is none other than Israel. That's plain and simple as that. You can go to Isaiah chapter 11, read verse 12. You can go to Hosea chapter 8, read verse 8 also. That tell you to disperse. You go to James chapter 1, read verse 1. He's writing to the dispersed. It's all there. This is Israel, right? So now we know the dispersed is Israel. And where's this dispersed found at?
Among the Gentiles.
Oh my goodness, stop. Wait, what? They found among the Gentiles. So the dispersed are found amongst the lost Israelites? No, they found amongst the Gentiles. Read.
And teach the Gentiles?
And teach the Gentiles, right? So we gotta make sure this is saying what it's saying, right? Because I'm a go where you like to lay. Let's go to Acts chapter 21, brother. Acts chapter 21. And pick it up at verse 17. Acts 21 and 17. When you get it, read it.
And when we were come to Jerusalem, the brethren received us gladly.
Read.
And the day following, Paul went in with us unto James, and all the elders were present. And when he had saluted them, he declared particularly what things God had wrought among the Gentiles by his ministry.
By his ministries. What ministry? The ministries of Paul, right? Wasn't that what he was raised for, to preach to the Gentiles? Read.
And when they heard it, they glorified the Lord.
And what?
And said unto him, Thou seest, brethren, how many thousands of Jews there are which believe.
So there's thousands of Jews here, right, that which believe, and what else?
And they are all zealous of the law.
And what else?
And they are informed of thee.
See, these Jews informed of thee, what you preaching to these Gentiles, right? Read.
That thou teachest all the Jews.
What? That their teachers who?
All the Jews.
Where are these Jews located?
Which are among the Gentiles.
Oh, sound just like the dispersed that's among the Gentiles. If that's the case, if they was lost Israelites, why is it not saying Gentiles among the Gentiles, or why is it identifying them as Jews?
Yeah.
It says Jews, which are among the Gentiles. I ain't reading no more of that. I ain't dealing with the rest of that. I'm just came there for that.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
So I'm just pointing that out. Like, I mean, how can lost Israelites be called Gentiles? Where, matter of fact, where's that term at in the Bible? We just read that the lost Israelites are the lost sheep of the house of Israel. That's what Jesus said. That term is there, but I can't read where somebody is lost. Lost Israelites are Gentiles. See, they start playing around with dictionaries and getting concordance and everything, and everything that's a Gentile is a lost Israelite, whatever. Anyway, now let's keep it moving. Let's go to John chapter 4, brother. John chapter 4, right? Because watch this. John chapter 4, 1 verse 22. Read it.
Ye worship ye know not what.
Okay, so Jesus telling this woman, she said that she worship, she know not what. Go ahead.
We know what we worship. For salvation is
we
of the
who?
Jews.
The Israelites. We know who we worship because salvation is for Jews only.
Is of the Jews.
Oh, is of the Jews. That's what it said. Is of the Jews. That means people got to come to them to get this salvation. It ain't only for them. Other people can get grafted into this as well, right? So now skip over to Romans chapter 3, brother. Romans chapter 3. And give me verse 1. Romans chapter 3 and verse 1. See, because we read that God punishing these people, right? For their iniquity, right?
What advantage then hath the Jew?
Well, that's a great question. What advantage then hath the Jew? What?
Or what profit is there of circumcision? Much every way.
He said much every way. So why is he saying much every way?
Chiefly.
Why?
Because that unto them were committed the oracles of God.
Oh, unto them was committed the oracles of God. You understand that? So they got to be out there teaching all these other people about their God, right? But skip down to give me 9.
What then?
What then?
Are we better than them?
Are we better than them? Are we? What's the answer?
No.
No.
In no wise.
Why?
For we have before proven both Jews and Gentiles
that what?
That they are all under sin.
You telling me that Jews and the Gentiles are all under sin? Ain't that what he said right there? Right? So now let's keep it moving. Let's go to Ephesians chapter 4, brother. Because salvation is of the Jews, and he's telling you the Gentiles can come here, but also the Gentiles could be referring to other nations as well. So now let's go to Ephesians chapter 4. Ephesians chapter 4 and verse 1, brother. When you get it, just read it.
I therefore, the prisoner of the Lord, beseech you that ye walk worthy of the vocation wherewith ye are called.
So notice he said, I therefore, the prisoner of the Lord, beseech you that you walk worthy of the vocation wherewith ye are called. Paul is talking to some Ephesians. These Ephesians are Gentiles. He's talking to Gentiles right here. He's telling you, what's the vocation? That's when you're being called. Right? Skip down to verse 4. Give me that.
There is one body.
He's telling these, look, Gentiles, there's one body.
And one spirit.
What else?
Even as ye are called in one hope of your calling.
What else is he saying?
One Lord. One faith. One baptism.
Read it.
One God and Father of all.
One Father of all and what?
Who is above all and through all and in you all.
So in order for these people to partake in this. Give me verse 17.
This I say therefore,
What?
and testify in the Lord, that ye henceforth walk not as other Gentiles walk.
Wait a minute. You mean he's telling Gentiles not to walk like other Gentiles? Absolutely. Read. Why?
In the vanity of their mind.
See, because when you think about it, everybody's being taught by the Gentiles, and the Gentiles is teaching people. But he's telling them, look, according to your vocation, walk worthy. You need to step away from these other Gentiles, the vanity in their mind. What else is he saying?
Having the understanding darkened.
That's why their mind is vanity. Their understanding is darkened. Yeah, when you give Christmas and then you tell people rabbits lay chocolate eggs, that's dark.
Yeah.
Go ahead, brother, read.
Being alienated from the life of God through the ignorance that is in them, because of the blindness of their heart.
Because of the blindness of the heart. So what they got to do, brother? What these Gentiles got to do? 23.
And be renewed in the spirit of your mind.
Oh, wow. They need to be renewed in the spirit of the mind. So just because, they being renewed in the spirit of their mind doesn't change their nationality.
Sure.
Are you black? Are you Israel? But you have the spirit of God in your heart, do you not?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, you still the same. Plain and simple as that. So now let's keep it moving, brother. Let's go to 1 Corinthians 12. Because why did he say don't walk as other Gentiles? He's telling this Gentiles not to walk as other Gentiles, right? Give me 1 Corinthians chapter 12 and verse 1. When you get it, just read it. 1 Corinthians 12 and 1, brother, read it.
Now concerning spiritual gifts, brethren, I would not have you ignorant. Ye know that ye were Gentiles.
Oh, he's are not Corinthians Gentiles? He said you were Gentiles. How were they Gentiles, right?
Carried away unto these dumb idols.
Don't carry it away into these dumb idols. What?
Even as ye were led.
See, that's why he said don't walk as these other Gentiles. These other Gentiles, man. They if we go to chapter 10, he talk about they be, matter of fact, look, we right here. Just go to chapter 10 and give me verse 20.
But I say that the things which the Gentiles sacrifice, they sacrifice to devils.
They what? No, they sacrifice to God, brother.
To devils.
That's what it says, right? They sacrifice to devils and what?
And not to God.
And not to God. What else?
And I would not that ye should have fellowship with devils.
See, they can't have fellowship with devils, so that's why he's telling them, look, brother, as your vocation is, as the Lord have called you, don't walk as the other Gentiles walk, because they serving devils. So you need to have a spiritual mindset of God, and you got to go through Israel to get that, right? So now let's go to
Isaiah.
Yep, Isaiah 49. You on it, brother? Isaiah 49. Let's throw some OT up in there. Isaiah 49, and I want verse 5. Isaiah 49 and verse 5. And when you get it, read it.
And now,
see, because first of all, I can take you to the New Testament, Acts chapter 13, where Paul's quoting this. But let's read some Old Testament, right?
Okay, yeah.
You go to Acts 13 and pick it up at 42 to 38. 48. You'll see Paul is quoting the same thing we read right here, right? So let's read the OT.
And now, saith the Lord that formed me from the womb to be
this
his
is
servant.
First and foremost, when you reading this from the beginning, all this is talking about, this is Jesus right here. Read, brother.
To bring Jacob again to him.
Oh, to bring Jacob again to him, and what?
Though Israel be not gathered.
See, yeah, we might not be gathered yet, but that time is coming. Right? Read.
Yet shall I be glorious in the eyes of the Lord, and my God shall be my strength.
Go ahead.
And he said, it is a light thing that thou shouldest be my servant to raise up the tribes of Jacob.
And do what?
And to restore the preserved of Israel.
God said it's a light thing for you to do that. See, that's why the Lord said I come to the house, the lost sheep of the house of Israel. They got to be restored. But not only for that, what else he say?
I will also give thee.
He said, I will also give thee what?
For a light to the Gentiles.
Oh, I'm going to give you a light to the Gentiles. To that what?
That thou mayest be my salvation unto the end of the earth.
Unto the end of the earth, see? So the salvation is to the Gentiles as well, too. And that's also all nations as well, too. Or is that just talking about white people? What about the Hamite? Right? So now, let's go to
many nations.
Go to chapter 56. I stay in Isaiah. Go to 56. And pick it up at verse 5. Isaiah 56 and verse 5. Read it, brother.
Even unto them will I give in mine house and within my walls a place and a name better than the sons and of daughters.
Mm-hmm.
I will give them an everlasting name that shall not be cut off.
Who is he talking about?
Also the sons of the stranger that joined themselves
That
to
what?
the Lord.
That what?
That joined
That
themselves.
joined themselves to the Lord. See, you want to become spiritual Israel as well. You know, you got people out there walking around like a spiritual Gentile. You don't want to be like that. You got to have your mindset as the Lord, right? So he says, verse 6, also the sons of the stranger that joined themselves to the Lord, that what?
To serve.
To serve him.
And to love the name
Hold
of the
on,
Lord.
brother. He said to serve him. That's important. That's an action word, brother.
True.
To serve. You know, because everybody loved the Lord until it's time to do something. Go ahead.
And to love the name of the Lord.
To
be his servants. Everyone that keepeth the Sabbath from polluting it.
Everyone that keepeth the Sabbath from polluting it.
And taketh hold of my covenant.
Well, let's see what he's talking about. Go to Matthew real fast. Matthew chapter 8. Matthew chapter 8. Time's never on your side, but I already know I couldn't get them all in there. But Matthew 8 real fast, brother, and just start it.
We got time.
Yep. Well, start at 5.
And when Jesus was entered into Capernaum.
Matter of fact, just get straight to it. Verse 10.
When Jesus heard it, he marveled and said to them that followed, Verily I say unto you, I have not found so great faith.
Because this was a Gentile looking for help from Jesus. Go ahead.
I have not found so great faith, no, not in Israel. And I say unto you,
that what?
That many shall come from the east and west, and shall sit down with Abraham and Isaac and Jacob in the kingdom of heaven.
That's talking about other nations. Read.
But the children of the kingdom.
Who's the children of the kingdom?
Israel.
The Israel. They the children of the kingdom. Right? Read.
Shall be cast out into outer darkness.
Because not all Israel is Israel. Just because you physical Israel in the flesh does not give you a free ticket into the kingdom. Read.
There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth.
He said, thou shalt be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Go to Romans chapter 2 real fast, brother. You know I got to throw this in here. Romans chapter 2 real quick. And pick it up at verse 6. Romans 2 and 6. Go ahead. When you get it, read it.
Who will render to every man according to his deeds?
He said to every man, did he not?
Yep.
Go ahead, read.
To them who by patient continuance in well-doing seek for glory and honor and immortality.
So
eternal life.
Eternal life. There's people seeking and searching for eternal life. What else?
But unto them that are contentious.
Unto them. Read.
And do not obey the truth. But obey unrighteousness, indignation and wrath, tribulation and anguish, upon every soul of man that doeth evil, of the Jew first.
Of the who first?
Of the Jew first.
And who else?
And also of the Gentile.
And what else?
But glory, honor.
Y'all need to understand this is covering everybody on the earth, because you need either become spiritual Israel or you can stay a spiritual Gentile. Read.
But glory, honor, and peace.
To who?
To every man that worketh good.
Men.
That to every man
that what?
That worketh good.
To who?
To the Jew first, and also to the Gentile.
What else?
For there is no respect of persons with God.
God don't have no respect of persons. Ezekiel 47, and this will be it, brother. Ezekiel 47, and give me 21. Ezekiel 47 and 21. Ezekiel 47 and 21. So without a shadow of a doubt, we know that the Gentiles are known as the white people, the European races, and the Asian. Right? 47 and 1. Read it.
47 and 1. Afterward, he brought me again into the door of the house, and behold, waters issued out from under the threshold of the house.
No, I'm sorry.
Eastward.
I meant to say 21.
Okay.
21. I'm sorry. Read that.
And it shall come to pass.
No, 47 and 4.
So shall ye divide this land unto you according to the tribes of Israel.
Oh, read.
And it shall come to pass that ye shall divide it by lot for an inheritance unto you, and to the strangers.
And to who? The strangers. That's all these other nations, also known as Gentiles as well. Read.
That sojourn among you, which shall beget children among you, and they shall be unto you as born in the country among the children of Israel.
Okay, and that's good right there. So I thank you for your time.
Peace.